Hello, fellow drinkers at the Jolly Heretic, resident poet here, and hello again to those of us joining from History Debunked. Now, as always, I'll start off by giving a quick summary of Ed's quick pints over the last few days. Now, one of the ones I saw were a video on plans for a 15-minute city in Oxford, which will lead to a huge restriction on people's personal movement. And as a consequence, the ordinary good men and women of Oxford did stage a protest at which Antifa attended and made their own feelings known. And Ed, in the video, shared his views as to why this might be. In Oxford, there was quite a scene involving a push to be green. It's backed in the main by the slightly insane, whose behaviour's pretty obscene. So hopefully you enjoyed that. And the next one that Ed came up with was also university related, this time the University of Cambridge, who have very recently decided to make all their menus vegan. And Ed illustrated in his video that this was a brilliant example of a university in one of the phases of its priestly cycle, where they seek to exclude certain people based on certain criteria. So Cambridge has now changed its grub to make itself more like a club. A place for the woke is surely a joke. I'd rather eat lunch at the pub. So, another thing that happened this week with Ed, he also drew attention on Twitter this time to the recent fruit rationing that's been going on in supermarkets in the UK. A life history strategy fast means that your food will not last. If you want fruit, but there's only beetroot, you might be a little downcast. So that was a roundup of Ed's quick pints, and hopefully some of you, or possibly even all of you, caught Ed's stream last night where his guest was Victoria Kellogg, who is of the famous cornflake dynasty, and she was on there discussing what it was like to be a female autistic. She was very forthright, very based, of course, and some might say a sandwich short of a picnic, but it was a very, very entertaining stream, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Our guest's name is famous for cereal. She's a lady who's quite magisterial. A female autistic, that's quite a statistic. Let's hope for some cracking material. And I think we did get some pretty cracking material. Now, moving on to history. Debunked. As always, Simon has been producing videos left, right and centre, as always. And one of the first ones that I saw over the last couple of days was one on the subject of the SNP leadership contenders, one of whom is a member of the Free Church of Scotland, which is informally known as the Wee Frees. And this prompted me to write a little poem. The sect by the name of Wee Frees have certain beliefs, if you please. They keenly disparage a gay couple's marriage. It makes them go weak at the knees. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Now, sticking to the university theme, Simon also produced a quick video on how universities are no longer selecting on the best, regardless of their background. We now have context-specific offers, which mean that the requirements are relaxed if you are a member of a certain group. This constant demand for inclusion will cause some to feel disillusion. To be a minority should not mean priority. This is the obvious conclusion. So that was my little roundup of history debunked videos over the last couple of days. Now, today's funny story features a Cockney, a young Cockney geezer, if you like, about 17 or 18 years old, bit of a wide boy. He goes into his local pharmacist and says, "All right, geezer, I tell you what, right, bit of good news. I've just started going out with this really posh looking bird, yeah? She's great, yeah? I love her to bits. She's having this lovely fancy birthday party do at her parents' gaff this weekend, and I reckon I'm going to get lucky, yeah? Do you know what I mean? So I tell you what, why don't you give me a packet of free, yeah, and we'll say no more about it." And the middle-aged pharmacist behind the counter sort of shakes his head and then says, "Okay, fine, sir," and gives him a packet of contraceptives. And the Cockney's just about to leave, but he turns around and says, "I tell you what, mate, I've just had a thought, yeah? Her old mum, yeah, despite being a bit older, she is also a bit of a salt, yeah? Do you know what I mean? So what I reckon I'm going to get a bit lucky with her and all. So I tell you what, why don't you give me another packet of free, yeah? And then I'll be sorted for the weekend, yeah? Get me?" And the farmer says, yes, here's another packet. Here you go. and the Cockney pays for it, and then he's on his way. And then Saturday comes round, and they're at the party at this young lady's house. And the young lady says to her boyfriend, "Darren, you're very quiet. If I'd known you were going to be this quiet, I wouldn't have invited you." And then Darren turns around to her and says, "Well, if I'd known your dad was a pharmacist, I wouldn't have turned up." So that was this week's funny story. So that was just a roundup from me today of the Jolly Heretics output and that of History Debunked. If you did enjoy it, please do like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see each other very soon. Goodbye.